Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm going to be reacting to I Am Only the Self, Gadata Maharaj. Now, I don't know if this is the Maharaj that I've heard about, or is that a title as well, like Buddha. I've not heard the first name though, if that's the first name. Nisargadatta, I believe, which I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. Maharaj, however, I think I am saying that right. That's the way I've heard it. Anyways, this is a request to do a request. If you have a request, please leave the title, the YouTube channel, and the length of the video so I can search for it and know exactly which one to look for. You can leave the link, but there's a chance that it might get put in the held review area because I guess people promoting their web page or their YouTube channel on other channels, and it could be flagged for that. So anyways, let's go and get started. That in whom resides in all beings, and who resides in all being. Oh, I didn't pause it. I thought it did. Oops. That in whom resides. Oh, sorry. That in whom resides all beings, and who resides in all beings, who is the giver of grace to all, the supreme soul of the universe, the limitless being. I am that. Amrit Bindu Upanishad. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry. I am that.
There is absolutely no difference between me and others, except in my knowing myself as I am. I am all. I know it for certain, and you do not. In reality, I am neither hearing nor answering. In the world of events, the question happens and the answer happens. Nothing happens to me. Everything just happens. My destiny was to be born a simple man, a humble tradesman with little formal education. My life was of the common kind with desires and fears. When through faith in my teacher and obedience to his words, I realized my true being, I left behind my human nature to look after itself until its destiny is exhausted. Occasionally an old reaction, emotional or mental, happens in the mind, but it is at once noticed and discarded. After all, as long as one is burdened with a personality, one is exposed to its idiosyncrasies and habits.
I have a thought on that. It's not necessarily a disagreement with him, but it's more of, I guess, again, I consider myself, I keep saying this, a middle of the ground type person. Their way of thinking and being, I do believe, is, in a sense, the ultimate goal. My goal is the 50% goal, the halfway marker at the ultimate of my goal. It's not to say that that's where I want to stop, but that's, at the very least, the first step of my goal. And when he was saying, after all, as long as one is burdened with personality, basically, I think the way I perceived his speech here is that your personality is based on external events to a degree. How you interact with people, the people that you interact with, well, that's basically it. And your personality kind of develops based on that. If you're around good and helpful people, you'll generally have a happy personality. If you're around with bad, terrible people, you'll end up having kind of a terrible personality. But that doesn't guarantee your personality to be that, because you could be around terrible people and know that the things that they do are terrible and will try to do better. Understand that there are better people out there and you're trying to be one of those better people. And you could be surrounded by good people and end up just, being a terrible person because you hate the things around you or whatever, for whatever reason it may be. And my 50% thing is just to understand why. It's always understanding. That's the key thing. It's just understanding and responsibility. Those have been, I've noticed, the things I keep saying: understanding and responsibility, understanding your scenario, understanding the behavior of it, understanding people, understanding yourself, most importantly, honestly, and taking responsibility for your actions. So while you may have this personality and how you behave, understand why you are that way and understand what you want to be a good or bad person. Hopefully never bad, but hopefully good. And take responsibility for your actions. And ultimately, I believe it's the goal of what a lot of people are saying here, is to not be burdened with personality at all. And what he was saying a little bit earlier here, that was that there's no difference between you and me, which is the Turiya, or the big the consciousness, the everything, that we are all the same. And I thought about this a little bit earlier today, where I don't necessarily believe that we're all the same, but there is a belief in there that I do believe that if you understand that we're all the same, you would not want to harm others. That I absolutely do believe. Just because we're different doesn't mean I want to harm you. That's where I'm trying. That's my halfway points. That I mean, some people don't believe that we're all one being consciousness. I don't necessarily believe that, but that doesn't mean I don't believe the core belief in it, that because of when we're all one consciousness, we don't want to harm each other. I do believe in that, absolutely. So there's a lot of things that I believe and follow that line up in a certain way with these philosophies. And I honestly never knew that. It's just, it's generally astounding that I find, well, they'll say Eastern philosophies to philosophies that I follow, that I've learned little bits here and there that I picked up on. Again, like I say in some of the videos, like the Dayton site and stuff. I need to stop talking. But yeah, it's some things that I picked up and I've developed on my own, in a sense, by picking up little things here and there and thinking about them. And then I come to find out that a lot of things that I believe are in Eastern philosophies. But I have not really studied up on Western philosophy. However, there is Western religion, which I understand the need for it. I don't accept a lot of the things of it, but at the same time, I do accept a lot of things of it that are good. But let's go on.
Once noticed and discarded.
Talk too much.
After all, as long as one is burdened with a personality, one is exposed to its idiosyncrasies and habits. When I met my guru, he told me, "You are not what you take yourself to be. Find out what you are. Watch the sense I am. Find your real self." I obeyed him because I trusted him. I did as he told me. All my spare time I would spend looking at myself in silence. And what a difference it made, and how soon. It took me only 3 years to realize my true nature. My guru died soon after I met him, but it made no difference. I remembered what he told me and persevered. The fruit of it is here with me.
A visitor asked Maharaj why realization of one's true nature is so important.
My question, so again, and my question was, okay, if when we discover our true selves, what benefits do we have? And it's not to say that we have to have monetary benefits, because my way of thinking is there has to be you could say a profit, not money profit, but a profit in terms of well-being. And to me, it is useless to invest so much time into something in which you will obtain nothing from it. That sounds kind of harsh, but it's more along the lines of investing in something that you think is going to give you something in return, but it doesn't. So it does sound terrible, honestly, but I don't know how to describe it, but it's more along the lines that when I do something, I want to make sure that I'm at least getting some enjoyment out of it, because I don't want to, like, I don't know, punching yourself in the face. That's so stupid, but you're not going to get an enjoyment out of it. I don't think. If you get enjoyment out of that, hey, you know what? You do you, and you keep on. But it's like doing something and get enjoyment out of it. You don't. Again, it doesn't have to be monetary. And I will say that is, in a sense, kind of a contradiction to maybe what some gurus would say. Doing good to others, there is a value, a profit to that, you could say. Like me helping others gives me joy. It does. Not all the time, but most of the time I do. I help a lot of people and I enjoy it. So is that to say that me helping other people is a bad thing, but I don't receive payment for it in terms of cash or any kind of gift items? I get payment for it by just me being happy doing it. That's what I mean by a profit of doing something. Cutting the grass, I mean, it sucks. The way I look at it, actually, any kind of manual labor work, I hate it. The way I look at it, it's exercise. I really do. I genuinely do, and it makes me want to do it. I still think it sucks, but the goodness of it is the exercise portion.
Without realization, you will be consumed by desires and fears, repeating themselves meaninglessly in endless suffering.
Okay, that is, yes, and that is something that I did think about. God, I keep pausing too much. But consumed by desires and fears. And for my 50% here, again, it's a halfway point, is the understanding of your desires and fears. If you understand them, you can have control over them. And again, that's the reason why it's a 50%. The ultimate goal is to desires and fears to have absolutely no control over you. Or for you to have no control over it, but also it to have no control over you, I do believe. Meaning that it's there, but it doesn't affect you in any way, meaning you also having control over it. You realize that it's just an object that does nothing. Me, it's an object that is there that doesn't control you, but you control it. And I think there's this along the lines of there is no control. It is just an observation, I believe. I could be wrong there, but that's my understanding so far, because their explanation about the body, the mind, and the Turiya just illuminates everything. Everything being that of an object, suffering, pain, all that merely an object of the world. It's an object to be observed, and it's not your true self. Therefore, your true self cannot be corrupted or influenced by it. So there's a separation there. Mine is more along the lines, there's not a separation there, but to understand it, that way you have control over it, that way you can defeat it if need be. So if you have a fear of something, understand why you fear it. And when you have a good understanding of it, it will no longer control your life, but you have control over your fear. Again, that's why I say I think that's maybe a 50% marker for me. And that's what I've been kind of looking at all my life, really. It's that 50% marker, and I didn't even realize that.
Consumed by desires and fears, repeating themselves meaninglessly in endless suffering. Most of the people do not know that there can be an end to pain. But once they have heard the good news, obviously going beyond all strife and struggle is the most urgent task that can be. You know that you can be free, and now it is up to you. Either you remain forever hungry and thirsty, ever losing and sorrowing, or go out wholeheartedly in search of the state of timeless perfection, to which nothing can be added, from which nothing can be taken away. In it, all desires and fears are absent, not because they were given up, but because they have lost their meaning.
Be happy with who you are. I made that statement before, and I made where I got that information. Where I got that from was, it's kind of like a dating video I watched I watched a little bit ago. But yeah, if you are happy with who you are without anything, without the needs or wants of anything, you're kind of untouchable in terms of these fads and things that, like, oh, I got in order for me to stay cool, I have to have the latest iPhone or purse or shoes or socks. And then when you just bought it, it's like, oh my god, a new one came out, I have to have that now too, so I can stay happy and hip and cool and all that. But when you're comfortable with who you are, with whatever you have, you're gonna be kind of untouchable. And I do believe that. And again, that may be just very well a halfway point. And the gurus and swamis are the 100% point, if you could say that. I don't know if mine is even halfway. It's a percentage of the way there, but I definitely do not believe my way of thinking is 100%. I hope to be at least that maybe that meeting ground between what's around the world and what they're speaking of.
Seekers who visited Maharaj wanted to know how they too could come to this awareness.
How do you go about finding anything? By keeping your mind and heart on it. Interest there must be, and steady remembrance. To remember what needs to be remembered is the secret of success. You come to it through earnestness. Seek a clear mind and a clean heart. All you need is to keep quietly alert, inquiring into the real nature of yourself. This is the only way to peace. All happens by itself. Neither the seeker nor the guru does anything. Things happen as they happen. Blame or praise are a portion later, after the sense of doership appears.
Visitors would ask Nisargadatta about effort and the role that spiritual disciplines play in helping one awaken from the dream of ignorance.
When effort is needed, effort will appear. When effortlessness becomes essential, it will assert itself. You need not push life about. Just flow with it and give yourself completely to this task of the present moment.
That answer, just flow with life, reminded me of Sadhguru whenever, I can't remember which video it was, where it said what the purpose of life is. And Sadhguru basically said that the purpose of life is just to live life, to flow with life.
Which is to die now to the now, for living is dying. Without death, life cannot be. Ultimately, one must go beyond knowledge, but the knowledge must come, and knowledge can come by constant meditation. By meditating, the knowledge I am gradually settles down and merges with universal knowledge, and thereby becomes totally free, like the sky or space. Those who come here with the idea of getting knowledge, even spiritual knowledge, come here as individuals aspiring to get something. That is the real difficulty. The seeker must disappear. When you know your real nature, the knowledge I am remains. But that knowledge is unlimited. It is not possible for you to acquire knowledge. You are knowledge. You are what you are seeking. Your true being exists prior to the arising of any concept. Dive deep within yourself and you will find it easily and simply. Go in the direction of I am. All exists in the mind. Both mind and body are intermittent states. The sum total of these flashes creates the illusion of existence. Inquire what is permanent in the transient, real in the unreal. This is sadhana, or spiritual practice. All those who have realized on the spot, by mere touch, look, or thought, have been ripe for it, but such are very few. The majority needs some time for ripening. Sadhana is accelerated ripening.
How is one to approach this awareness of which Maharaj speaks from the point of view of being one with it?
You must realize first of all that you are the proof of everything, including yourself. None can prove your existence, because his existence must be confirmed by yours first. Your being and no...
Sorry, I got to rewind that one. Just realize first that you are the proof of everything.
You
including
are the
yourself.
proof of everything, including yourself. None
None can prove your existence because his existence must be. Whenever he was talking to us, I thought it was like two people confirming each other's existence, but no, it's actually the mind and body, and then your true self. I guess is what he's saying here. None can prove your existence because his existence must be confirmed by yours. It's like you must confirm your existence first before you can confirm your existence. It's like what? None can prove your existence because his existence must be confirmed by yours first. Isn't that what he just said here? I think. None can prove your existence because his existence must be confirmed. Okay, let's keep going.
Maharaj often spoke of his guru and the role of the teacher in spiritual life. Every morning he reverently decorated the photos of his guru that hung in the upstairs room. He often said that the true teacher was one's own self.
The greatest guru is your inner self. Truly, he is the supreme teacher. He alone can take you to your goal, and he alone meets you at the end of the road. Confide in him, and you need no outer guru. But again, you must have the strong desire to find him, and do nothing that will create obstacles and delays.
And I think that is the hardest part, especially someone with a very active mind. I mean, obviously, it's going to take some time. He said it took him 3 years to do it. I would not doubt that. And I don't know. I can see this as being something hard to believe to a lot of people. And very difficult to do because I don't know if you've ever watched whenever what's the chef's name? Ramsay met with Sadhguru. Ramsay's so fidgety and always moving and always wanting to do something, while Sadhguru was very calm. And that's exactly the two different, the Western and Eastern right there. Western is always so moving, so busy, so active, so thinking, so doing, so everything. And Eastern is a little bit more like, they can calm down and work, but Western is always seems to be so, I would say energetic, but just like so hyped up or something. Always got to do something kind of deal. I don't know, and that is kind of like my mind too, though. It's not necessarily that it's always wanting to do something. There are times when it does calm down, but when there's something to do, there's something to do. You just can't keep it calm all the time.
You are never without a guru, for he is timelessly present in your heart. What he wants you to do is simply learn self-awareness, self-control, and self-surrender. It may seem arduous, but it is easy if you are earnest, and quite impossible if you are not. Everything yields to earnestness. The true guru will never humiliate you, nor will he estrange you from yourself. He will constantly bring you back to the fact of your inherent perfection and encourage you to seek within.
Nisargadatta referred to the illusory sense of being traditionally called the ego, as the I amness. He says that to find the source of this I amness and fully understand it as nothing more than a conceptual idea of oneself is the way to self-realization and wholeness. Maharaj asks the seeker to be in the state which is prior to the experience of I amness.
The concept I am comes spontaneously and goes spontaneously. Amazingly, when it appears, it is accepted as real. All subsequent misconceptions arise from that feeling of reality in the I amness. The moment the feeling I am appears, the world also appears. Any image you have of yourself is not true. True knowledge is to abide in your own self.
The teachings of Maharaj move our awareness from the I amness, this sense of separate identity, to a non-dualistic state of oneness with the Absolute, which is our real nature. Visitors asked for clarification concerning this state of emptiness.
I mean, free of all content. To myself, I am neither perceivable nor conceivable. There is nothing I can point out and say, this I am. You identify yourself with everything so easily. I find it impossible. The feeling, I am not this or that, nor is anything mine, is so strong in me that as soon as a thing or a thought appears, there comes at once the sense, this I am not. I find that somehow by shifting the focus of attention, I become the very thing I look at and experience the kind of consciousness it has. I become the inner witness of the thing. I call this capacity of entering other focal points of consciousness love. You may give it any name you like. Since at any point of time and space I can be both the subject and the object of experience, I express it by saying that I am both, and neither, and beyond both.
From the point of view of self-realization or enlightenment, there are no individuals. The Self, or God, exists as all manifestation. A visitor asked Maharaj how this individuality arose, and why we think of ourselves as separate individuals.
These are all very good questions. Like, very good questions. Questions I definitely would be asking for sure.
Your thoughts about individuality are really not your own thoughts. They are all collective thoughts. You think that you are the one that has the thoughts. In fact, thoughts arise in consciousness. As our spiritual knowledge grows, our identification with the individual body-mind diminishes, and our consciousness expands into universal consciousness. The life force continues to act, but its thoughts and actions are no longer limited to an individual. They become the total manifestation. It is like the action of the wind. The wind doesn't blow for any individual, but for the entire manifestation.
To questions concerning daily work and how one should conduct oneself in the world, Maharaj replied,
Why do you worry about the world before taking care of yourself? You want to save the world, don't you? Can you save the world before saving yourself? And what means being saved? From what? From illusion. Salvation is to see things as they already are. Keep quiet. Do your work in the world, but inwardly keep quiet. Then all will come to you. Do not rely on your work for realization. It may profit others, but not you. Your hope lies in keeping silent in your mind and quiet in your heart. By all means, attend to your duties. Action in which you are not emotionally involved and which is beneficial and does not cause suffering will not bind you. You may be engaged in several directions and work with enormous zest, yet remain inwardly free and quiet with a mirror-like mind, which reflects all without being affected. The unexpected is bound to happen, while the anticipated may never come. All is because you are. Grasp this point firmly and deeply and dwell on it repeatedly. To realize this as absolutely true is liberation.
All is because you are.
The one who has fully investigated himself, the one who has come to understand, will never try to interfere in the play of consciousness. There is no creator with a vast intellect as such. All this play is going on spontaneously. There is no intellect behind it. So don't try to impose yours to bring about any change. Leave it alone. Your intellect is a subsequent product of this process. So how can your intellect take charge of or even evaluate the whole creation? Investigate yourself. This is the purpose of your being. Spirituality is nothing more than understanding this play of consciousness. Try to find out what this illusion is by seeking its source. There can be no consciousness without awareness. There can be awareness without consciousness, as in deep sleep.
There can be no consciousness without awareness. There can't be awareness without consciousness. So to be conscious, you have to be aware.
By seeking its source. There can be no consciousness without awareness.
There can be no consciousness without awareness. So you I'm sure it's quite confusing. I gotta watch it again. Hold on, sorry, because it kind of caught me off guard. There's no translation, and then I'm trying to understand how this guy's speaking because I'm so used to the original speaker. Let me go here.
Before the appearance of this beingness, whatever state is, that state is prior to or rather beyond beingness and no being state also. I prevail in that state for the arrival of beingness or before the arrival of no beingness also. And with the waking state, all this world is manifest because of my beingness. My world is manifest. That also is observed by that state, which is prior to beingness.
To me, that's like words cannot comprehend. There's no good translation for how to explain it. But I don't know. So I think from that last part, basically that, I guess the way to summarize that last bit, how I understood it, is we go back to what Swami was talking about, the Turiya. The Turiya illuminates the waker, the dreamer, and the deep sleep state. And the beingness is the Turiya that is true prior to the wake state, the waker, the dreamer, and the sleeper. I think that's the third state. And that's what I think they're talking about here, is that this beingness has always been there prior to the wake state, prior to the sleep state, sorry, prior to the dreamer state, and prior to the sleep state, the deep sleep state, the dreamer world, and the waker world. And I think that's what I'm getting over here at this last part. I think I'm right. Let me know if you want to. And I would say that was, without me knowing, watching all these other wisdom videos, trying to understand it as best I can, I honestly probably wouldn't understand that last part. Even with knowing that I think I got it. I'm not sure, I think I got it though. I could only imagine someone who has no prior knowledge to, say, Eastern philosophies, how they would understand this. It's going to be completely foreign to them, and they'll probably think of it as nonsense because they've not ever experienced this. I am a person of curiosity, so I'm open-minded, and you may, there are some people out there who may think I'm closed-minded, but it's just that I'm open-minded, but I have to realize what I know and the new things that I know and work things out in a way. I will always consider both, but the reason why I believe in something is because there's been a lot of experiences or evidence that I've experienced in it. And the new thing that's coming along that I've not experienced very much of, it's going to be new, so I'm going to be, hopefully everyone will get suspicious of anything new that comes along with them until more experiences or more evidence comes to support it. So, I mean, yeah, like, and was it the last video with, I can't remember, with, oh my gosh, I can't even remember that, Richard Dawkins video? Whenever I first watched that video, I thought the Indian dude, I think he's Indian, I believe, I thought he was kind of crazy. I even said it on that video when I did a reaction to that one. But after watching it a second time, and more than likely the wisdom videos that I've been watching helped me understand him a lot better. And now I understand what he's saying, and I don't think it's crazy. Although Richard Dawkins, the way he's thinking in that video is still the way that I think, but I have a better understanding now. And the way he was thinking was also the way I was thinking prior, which when I'm laughing at Dawkins, I'm also laughing at myself in the past because it's so true. Anyways, that's my reaction to I Am Only the Self, Maharaj. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down, down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.